Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT's roster drama. It seems going down following the Sen City Classic. There were rumours during the tournament itself that Evil Geniuses would maybe look to make a roster change to their what they call temporary team going into that tournament. Turns out, on rumours over the last few days, that is exactly what has happened. But Potter, the coach of the team during the event, said the team that they played with a few days ago is the team she wanted for the regular season. That is not happening for whatever reason. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. First of all, just further reaction here to Vanity retiring, of course, and stepping away. And look, as Zekan says, NA ranked is so bad that pros are quitting. But dude, imagine there was a third Prime bundle, right? So, you know, lots of pros are making the point on this now, is that the game just isn't as much fun maybe as it used to be to play and to grind. Tex is here in the replies as well. How is Riot not made an FPL for Valorant yet? All I want is my ranked teammates to use mics, so people are too busy being on their 5th or 6th account and not at all caring. And lots of similar replies as well. So it's definitely a frustrating thing. And I think TenZ has felt this also. I think TenZ mentioned on stream the other day that now he's retired from competing. He's like, well, what do I do? Obviously, he wants to play Valorant still, which he does, but, you know, playing it ranked all day just doesn't hit, right? It just isn't really what these guys want to do. So I think TenZ has made a perfectly reasonable decision in the circumstances for him, absolutely. But there will be part of TenZ that is like, oh, well, you know, kind of not miss maybe getting on and practicing, because that's also not necessarily fun. The tournaments are always fun as a player. Some players love practicing. Some players, you know, see it as a bit of a grind and necessary evil on some level in order to be good so you can win tournaments and stuff. But definitely many players are experiencing the difficulties with consistently playing Valorant right now, because especially if you're no longer competing, as Vanity was not in the position to do as, you know, recently going into the new season, so he's decided to step away from competing. Playing ranked just doesn't hit the same. We also got confirmation yesterday of the brand new KOI. So this is your roster of 5: Grabinho, Shados, Filu, Flyer, and Soulcast. So interesting roster they've put together. I think one of the interesting pieces mainly is the Flyer addition here, how he's going to get on for the brand new season as the captain, the IGL of that brand new Movistar KOI team. So yeah, Flyer's been making a name for himself for a little bit of time now as an IGL in the Tier 2 North American scene, and that looks set to continue on KOI for the new season. So that's an exciting prospect. I did want to share a clip as well here from TenZ, because he's talking about the state of Neon. Again, the way the, well, meta currently looks might not be the best, as we full well know. So as TenZ says, loading up Valorant first thing in the morning and not seeing a Neon nerf, you know, here we go again. So TenZ made it clear what he would do. He would make it so that there's only one slide that you can run with Neon, and obviously there's been other talks from Ye and other players over the last few days that maybe it's time to actually introduce some sort of agent ban system where each team gets to ban one agent per game, in which case I would say that in the current meta, Neon is getting banned in 80% of series, because one of the two teams will say that we don't want to play against that, we're just going to get rid of it. Now, of course, hypothetically, if you get rid of Neon, it allows your opponent to then also ban something that you might want to use, and I think this is an inevitability in Valorant, that at some point we have to introduce agent bans. It may not happen immediately, but it probably might well happen at some point, and TenZ basically explains how to use Neon to the best of her abilities right now with the way that the slide currently works, but he has made the point the other day that he would like to see this change to at least some capacity.
Right now, how do you do Neon slides that are so accurate? Can you explain how? I mean, all you do is just shoot the enemy when you're sliding. It's like you slide, and okay, I found the easiest way to make your slides the most efficient as possible is with your crosshair placement. So like, let's say there is a corner here and I wanted to slide, right? Instead of like sliding like this and like tracking like that, I would actually just move my crosshair here and then slide like straight. So then it's a lot easier to what's it called, to slide kill stuff. That's what I found to work the best with sliding, is just good crosshair placement and like, yeah, it's good pre-aim. That's the best way to slide kill people. Because yeah, before I was going like this, where I would slide and like try to track someone, and then that's like not as efficient as just like waiting for my crosshair to hit their head and shooting when that happens.
But let's talk about some of the roster stuff, right? So at the Sen City Classic, EG eventually came third in this. They lost to Sentinels to bow out of the tournament in the playoff side, and Sen, of course, went on to lose to NRG. But EG did take down Cloud9 earlier in the tournament, and they did not place last at the event. Potter, coach of the team, seemed pretty happy with their performance as basically a brand new roster, and at the end of the day, the firepower on this team was not able quite to match up to the Sentinels level or to certainly the NRG level, but they were better as a team than Cloud9 were, which was impressive given that Cloud9 had been boot camping over in Korea for several weeks. But during the tournament, in the run-up to the tournament, there were still questions on exactly what was happening with their players, because, for example, Sim had in his bio, and still has to this day, TSM Sim, right, former TSM player, but of course he was on EG for this tournament, so the theory goes that, oh, well, clearly he's going to be on the roster, right? But it was not that clear at all, because as we see here, if I just click on Ye's profile, it might well say a similar thing. Yeah, as it stands, professional Valorant for question mark, question mark. So it's like, hang on a second, they've played for EG, they've played a tournament for EG, and yet the team continues to not look like those players on the roster. So this was a big debate during the weekends, because Potter came out as well on stream and said that this is the roster that she wants for the season, but there were other factors in play that weren't allowing it. Now, whether that was a general manager above Potter making a decision on behalf of the team, or whether that's budget-related problems, who really knows? But the theory was that Derek, Superman, Nature weren't going to go anywhere. Ye was unlikely to go anywhere, then it was more likely going to be Sim that was maybe going to be stepping away. And to be fair, Sim had one okay series and one pretty terrible series. But look, he's a talented player, and I trust Potter's judgment in many respects on what it takes to build a good team chemistry, pick up good players, find good talent, and help develop them into being the best version of themselves as a player and potentially as a person as well. So Sim was on the team, it looked pretty good for him to stay, but that seemingly is now no longer going to be the case, right? Because rumours emerging yesterday, and actually screenshots to this end as well, that EG are parting ways with Sim. So as we can see here, DZ, so Dark Zero, Adder, and then of course we've got on the other side BCJ, GMD, Seven, T-Dog, Sim and Pancake. So it looks like again a TSM scrim happening with Sim back in the roster. And this happens at the same time that we had this one as well, which is right about here, which is another interesting team as well that I guess we'll get to in a second. But there's a few interesting scrim leaks happening last night. Maybe the main one though is this whole Sim rumor, because it does seem like, based on this information, that Sim is going to be gone from EG because he's back scrimming with of course the TSM boys, it seems, trials at the very least. So if Sim is then going back, like, why would he be even playing with him if EG were keeping their roster? It would make no sense, especially because this looks like a scrim really, or a trial at the very least. Why would Sim be there if he was still on EG, right? But Ye has not been spotted anywhere, so the presumption is that maybe Ye is going to stay and it's going to be Derek, Nature, Superman, Ye +1. But yeah, Sim for some mysterious reason seems to be gone from the lineup. This is the other thing though, as I mentioned, we have a very interesting lineup here. So ignoring the Cloud9 Zephyr deathmatch, this was a scrim against Sentinels, and Sentinels doing well, Kaplan there, Zelsis there, etc. But this is the roster, potentially a 4. So this is Jake, Big Bean, and he's here with Net, with Stella, and with Crashies as well. Now whether it's going to be Crashies and Victor again, that is remains a question for sure, but of course, Jake potentially stepping in here as the duelist could make a bit of sense there on the roll. But yeah, that's very interesting to keep an eye on. And there's a bit of talk about this as well, that maybe, okay, Jake's going to run the smokes, Crashies on the initiator, then Net on the sentinel, Seller on the flex maybe, and then have a duelist in the roster as well. So possibility would be, an interesting contender in challenges for sure in Ascension. And there's some questions on who they'd be representing, whether it's going to be an MXS team, but if MXS were to keep Brook, which they may, then that might look potentially more like a Turtle Troop or a Dark Zero team or something like that anyway. So yeah, intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below, but interesting changes right now happening behind the scenes in the Valorant world. But what is going on with Evil Geniuses? That is, I guess, the key debate right now, and why have they seemingly made the changes that they have? I guess the concern for me is because I do want Ye back in the league, no doubt about that in my mind. Sim, I think he's an exciting prospect, but I'd like to see what Ye could do under a Potter system on EG with some decent talent around him, but, you know, a team that's maybe going to be set up for Ye's success. Again, I think they could be seriously good, but my concern is that if Sim is gone, because Sim never changed his bio or anything when he joined the team, at least for a trial period for the Sen City Classic, the same thing for Ye. Ye's not changed anything in his bio either. He's still, after leaving Bleed, player for question mark. So that's the concern for me, that if Sim is gone, maybe Ye is also gone, and there's some weird decisions being taken at the top level that are making that happen. So confusing to say the least, but very much interested to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.